Emergency talks over Greek debt have once again brought no results, except for another warning from EU leaders. They want Athens to present a comprehensive list of economic reforms to satisfy the lenders' demands. And yet again, it gave the Greek PM an opportunity to express his optimism with the way he talks and the way he walks. Despite the demands on Greece, some leaders have fallen for his charm offensive. EU Parliament President Martin Schulz has openly supported many of Athens' policies towards the poor. However, the German Chancellor, destroyed any hopes that her stance on Greece debt might change. But after her initial reluctance not to meet the Prime Minister, she did eventually relent.
Den griechischen Ministerpräsidenten Alexis Tsipras für Montag nach Berlin eingeladen und ich freue mich auf seinen Besuch. Wir werden Zeit haben, ausführlich miteinander zu reden, vielleicht auch zu diskutieren. Es ist natürlich völlig klar.
Athens and the EU have many times ruled out Greece leaving the Eurozone, despite massive media speculation over it. However, Malcolm Sawyer, a professor of economics at the University of Leeds in the UK, believes that saying no to austerity and staying in the Eurozone can't coexist.
It's kind of, if you put it to them as, would you like to stay in the euro? Most people, the opinion polls say this, will say, yes, we would like to stay in the euro. Once you start saying, do you want to stay in the euro or do you want austerity, then the decision starts to look a slightly different. And I think there's a certain sense building up there now, and you can see it on the streets and you can see it in the opinion polls, that perhaps getting out and sticking without austerity and Syriza sticking to its programme might be a better bet. They said they could stay in the euro, there'll be good Europeans, they'd stay in the euro, and they'd also not implement austerity. Now it's becoming very, very apparent that you can have one of these or the other. You can stay in the euro or you can not implement austerity. So we're coming to a crunch time over that.
In New York, Big Brother is not just watching you now.
That's not about one's safety. That's just now meddling into the everyday conversations of people.
Police are introducing a programme to listen for gunshots fired in the city. But putting microphones on every corner is raising new privacy concerns. The UK government is rolling out a new law, forcing landlords to check whether their tenants are illegal migrants. And as RT's Polly Boycare reports, homeowners aren't too happy that the Home Office is outsourcing its job to them.
So you've found the flat, you've saved up enough cash for the deposit, and the landlord's made you an offer. But renting a property in Britain could be set to get a little bit more complicated, because in a bid to stamp out illegal immigration, the government's rolling out a new law. Before handing over any keys, landlords will now have to check that their potential tenants aren't illegal immigrants. If they fail to do that, well, they could face a fine of up to £3,000. And there are fears that in trying to play it safe, some property owners will simply avoid renting to foreigners altogether.
The right to rent scheme is being rolled out gradually across the country, but landlords already aren't happy about it. Andy Burton rents out several properties in the West Midlands, where the law is already in force.
All landlords are thinking about is, I've got to be careful, I may get fined. The biggest problem is we don't feel like we should be doing the work of the Home Office. So if the government want to stop people coming into the country, they should do it at the airports and the ports, not leave it to landlords to check.
And it's not just landlords criticising the new rules.
It's a very racist policy, basically, and it's already having a big impact. I know people that work in immigration charities. You're already having landlords basically not allowing people to have places, you know what I mean, because of that law. So yeah, it's a racist, you know, the government's immigration laws are incredibly racist.
You hear news and you hear new proposals people have been thinking about to get, you know, as a new law, a new rule concerning us. So I'm just feeling that it's just not that, it's not that easy, and it's not getting any easier.
The landlords shouldn't be put in this position. I mean, if the government wants to check on them, then the government should check on them.
Well, why does it have to get to that stage so the landlord has to take on extra roles?
Right to Rent is just the latest government measure created to tackle illegal immigration. Banks already have to check customers' immigration statuses before opening accounts, and employers face fines of up to £20,000 if they're found to be hiring illegal workers. Some MPs have warned that although the measures are designed to create a hostile environment for illegal migrants, they could end up penalising all immigrants as a result. Reporting from London, I'm Polly Boyko.
From arming Syrian rebels to sending military instructors to Iraq, the US has a reputation as a major player in the Middle East conflicts and a record of eventually aiding the wrong side. RT's In the Now looked at the latest case.
It's lost. $500 million worth of military aid vanished. The U.S. deliveries to Yemen included rounds of ammunition, pistols, rifles, and Humvees. And it's not just Yemen. In Iraq, they spent $25 billion on arming Iraqi troops to find out that missiles fell into the hands of ISIS. And in Afghanistan, weapons worth $420 million were lost. Vehicles, advanced weapon systems, and even encryption technology. And then we wonder how come terrorists make gains so fast. Joining me in the Now is Wahim Hagopian, journalist, West Point graduate, and former U.S. Army officer. Thanks for being with us. What's going on? Why can't the U.S. control their deliveries, and how come they're getting lost on such a regular basis?
One reason is they're too big. We have a standing army of something of 1.4 million people, most of which are dispersed around the world in 1,000 different locations, occupying other countries. That's one big problem, because when you have the kind of massive logistics that are required for that, it's basically nearly humanly impossible. Now we look at the record of our military and our Pentagon, and they've been continually losing weapons, as you alluded to, for the last many, many years. We lost a hydrogen bomb in the 50s that's somewhere off the Georgia coast. It's pretty incredible, and it speaks very highly to why we always lose wars.